Hello and welcome back to the Baker's Dozen podcast. It's not just me and YungD0nut this time. We have a special guest for our segment, Flavor of the Month, not to be confused by the classic, the American Hi-Fi classic, Flavor of the Week.
Oh my god.
But here we are. I've been waiting on that for like a week. I thought of it like Wednesday. I was like, all right, I got it. I'm going to like make sure that I'm the one who gets to do this.
Flavor of the week.
But he's our guest 8vaLuigi. He is no stranger to 90s 2000s rock music. So that is one of the many things he does. He streams, he plays Melee, he speedruns, he does all these things. Welcome to the show.
Welcome, Scott.
Thank you for having me. And it's truly an honor to get to be here among you legends. So thank you.
The first guest we have.
Truly, you are the one of many to come. Hopefully.
Sweet. That's awesome.
Unless you start like shaming us and start telling people how terrible of a podcast this is, that's just gonna.
Oh, that could affect
I've seen it happen time and time again. The guest comes on the show, they're a great person, and then they just start spewing garbage. No, but welcome. It's awesome to have you on here. If you want to go ahead, just for the people that don't know you here as well as Drew might, you want to go ahead and give a bit of an introduction here. Just tell the people who you are, what you do, what's going on.
Yeah, sure. So my name is Skylar. Most people in the gamer sphere call me 8va or 8vaLuigi, but yeah, that's kind of what I do. Much like Drew, I'm a young music teacher, and I also really like video games and all things related to them. I've been playing Melee since. Well, obviously, I've been playing Melee since 2001, but I've been competing in Melee since like 2016 or so. And I've mained Luigi pretty much through all my time there. And I've also gotten pretty into like streaming on Twitch and variety like speedruns and stuff. So that's me. And yeah, basically all about music, Melee, and speedruns. So that's me.
Yeah.
What a trifecta.
Yeah.
And you started streaming around COVID time, right?
Yeah. I was nervous because like I had all these gigs lined up. I had like so many music gigs lined up for 2020. It was actually crazy. I like bought myself a new iPhone.
Oh wow!
Gotta have the.
And
gig
then all
phone.
those gigs washed out.
I had all these gigs lined up, so I bought myself a new iPhone and like took out the loan on the like 256 gig iPhone 11 or whatever because I was feeling like a real baller. And then a funny thing happened, and suddenly I didn't have 2 musicals and a ton of summer gigs lined up. So I was like, I've always enjoyed like playing Melee and watching Twitch streams and everything, so I figured I would start it up right around the start of the pandemic, and it's been a really good thing. I actually got a gaming PC for Christmas in like 2019, but just didn't really set up too much in terms of like all that stream setup and whatever. But I had a good amount of the tools just from dipping into music. I already had like a nice like USB audio interface and stuff, but yeah, it's been fun.
I feel like that's such a common thing for like some people that pick up streaming. Like at one point or another, they have an audio interface somewhere. They might not even know they have it, but they got one, and they're just like, all right, now I need to figure out how to use it with streaming, and then it's the most amazing thing ever. Instead of using freaking one of these pains in the asses.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the headset mics. I'm using a USB one right now, actually. Not a headset, but just a USB mic because my wife is currently using my streaming setup. But
how could she?
She doing more Luigis Mansion?
Yeah.
Nice.
That's a classic. I was on not for any particular reason, especially not for this episode of the podcast, I promise, but I was definitely on speedrun.com earlier today. And it was funny, just like, you know how when you go on speedrun.com, there's just like the board of just like most recent like PBs that get uploaded or whatever.
Right.
I saw one today, the Luigis Mansion. I think it was any percent. Someone just got like the 100th place. Like someone just got 100th place for any percent. And I just saw that, and the fact that we're talking about Luigis Mansion, you know, it's all tying together here. It was like I was meant to see it.
Yeah.
She a speedrunner too, or just casual kind of fun gaming?
Oh, she actually just started getting into running Luigi's Mansion 100%.
Oh, okay. Is it like the original Luigi's Mansion, or are we talking like...
Yeah, we're talking Luigi's Mansion for the GameCube, released in 2001, yeah.
That was a golden year for gaming. That was a
It
golden
sure
year.
was.
We don't talk about that enough, but that's
we
awesome.
We got Melee, we got Luigi's Mansion, we got other GameCube launch titles like Wave Race Blue Storm. Some
Couldn't
good
even remotely tell you what that one is.
Some good like PS2 games.
Skylar's like, to me, like one of the definitions of those like real retro gamers who like totally is in like all these different franchises and different things all across the board.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll talk about it more once we talk about all the games that he runs and things like that.
And we definitely will, but before we do that, I have to hop on a side tangent because of what I just saw there. Is that a Bold Rock glass?
It is, yeah.
Yeah, Bold Rock is so good, Drew. You come down to Virginia, we're gonna get you some Bold Rock. It's a delicious cider, not sponsored, but like Bold Rock.
I love cider.
Truly,
yeah.
No,
You'd like Bold Rock.
Bold Rock's incredible.
As long as the world doesn't spiral again, I would love to go out that way.
That is very valid. No pandemic equals best life to live.
Yes.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, we could definitely talk more about this here as far as like where it sounds like your upbringing within gaming comes from, because as Drew even just kind of mentioned, you do come off as a bit more of like a nostalgic, older styled gaming interest or enthusiast. What is it that like started your gaming interests or things that led you into it? Because it seems like you have two different passions within gaming and music. So we can take a look into the gaming one.
Right. So I went to like this daycare when I was like 3 or 4 years old. And the person that like ran the daycare had a son that was a lot older, and he had just gotten like a Game Boy Color or something. And I remember they handed down to my parents a Sega Game Gear, which was just this giant like piece of machinery that had a D-pad and 2 buttons. Took 6 AA batteries. Oh
my god, I've seen these before.
Yeah, it was like it was Sega's first like handheld system. And I had Sonic 1 on the Game Gear. So I like Sonic 1 was my first ever video game. But not like the Genesis version, the Game Gear version. I really liked it. I really liked it when I played it. So I had really wanted either like a Game Boy Color or a PlayStation 1. Mm-hmm. And I started off with the PlayStation 1, and my first ever like home console game was Spyro the Dragon. So I think
Spyro,
like I've been very much on the kick of like that kind of nostalgia lately. I'm super into like original PlayStation games at the moment, and I think it's just because like in a way that's where it all started, other than like Sonic 1 on the Game Gear.
Now hold that as the roots. That's a great story to talk about the Game Gear, because God knows I've seen that console before. I definitely just had to Google it, but I mean you see the photo of a Game Gear and you go, oh my god, I know what he's talking about, and this is too funny.
Yeah, there were a couple other cartridges with it, but it was like mostly like sports games and like this one really interestingly bad Tetris ripoff called Super Columns. Is like they weren't even trying with the name, but I specifically remember Sonic 1 and Sonic 2 being on the Game Gear. But yeah, I mean, that was where it really all started. And then like PlayStation 1 came later, Game Boy Color came later, GameCube came later. And so I think like that sort of like childhood pocket of games and recognizing that like, okay, I've played this game however many times. What can I do that'll make it more replayable? And I think that's where like speedrunning comes into the equation.
Yeah. I love those childhood stories because a lot of the times I find, and it's kind of with me too, those like first iconic sort of gaming moments weren't just like, oh, my folks had this console or something. Like I distinctly remember going to my aunt's, for half my family's Jewish, we'd go for Jewish holidays. So I remember going to my aunt's house for Hanukkah or Passover and playing on their Nintendo 64. And we would play Smash and we would play Pokemon Coliseum.
Oh,
And those are like the two like real big things I have. And then we had another aunt in Albany, and they had, I think it was a GameCube, but they had like the James Bond games, the 007 games.
Oh, like GoldenEye and shit like that? Yeah.
And I would play that when I was there. So these like, a lot of these like, oh, yes, I'm going to this person's house, but these memories really early on, a lot of them had these sort of video games sort of intertwined into that.
I envy so many people that had that. I had the movies. I didn't have games to look forward to. I had, I'm going to grandma's down on Long Island. Do we got games? Hell no. Do we got decent food? Kinda. But do we have Hercules on VHS? Fuck yeah. Like that was the go-to. We definitely had that ready to go every single time we went down to my grandma's, but definitely the old school games. I do remember and I think both of you are going to know exactly what I'm talking about. The Blockster Buster. That was where original game rental. That's what did it for me to find like certain games and things and interests that I would then kind of grow with. Melee was, I think, one of the first games we ever bought that was like a rental originally. Either that or like Sunshine. But that just shows how like 2001 is like where my retro area comes from. Like so much before that, I got nothing.
I've never completed Super Mario Sunshine.
Really?
It was too hard for me as a kid. Never went back to it.
You got a new stream game.
I struggled on it. This is the thing. I could probably have 4 months of games that I've never played that I should have played already.
Steam.
And just play them.
Steam is that.
They're all there. They're all there.
So many games are on Steam, and you've probably touched like 8.
We'll probably have an entire episode talking about all the games in my Steam library that are so good, and everyone's going to say, how have you not played this already? And it's just sitting there like uninstalled on my computer.
You a game hoarder, Skylar? You with us on that?
No, I stray away from those kinds of conversations. I'm very like I'm very out of touch with like more like modern gaming. But like I really would like to get more into it. The thing is, I really want like a PS5 or like to really soup up my PC or something. I don't really want to like do it in any sort of compromised kind of way. Like I want to do it right. Fair. And it just hasn't like really lined up. I have a bunch of PS4 games that I haven't played.
Are you more of console, or do you prefer like your PC? Like because you said you have now a gaming PC, so I mean, do you have like your preference in between there at all, or because I know some people are diehard like, oh, I'm only gonna play on my console, or even on a computer, I'm just gonna play with a controller, things like that.
I don't really care about that. I mean, I'd rather play it like when I play PC games, even if it's like a shooter, I tend to go towards a controller.
Okay.
Just because my first ever shooter was Halo, which literally
at
the time you could only play that game with a controller because Halo 3 was only on the 360. It wasn't on PC. Now you can play it on PC. That's like one of the few modern games that I have is the like Master Chief Collection.
You know, I mean, shit. Like everyone says it's good too. Like I haven't played that one because Halo for me was like the modded version on computer already. But that was way back. So I know the new Halo though. People are having fun with that. So I mean, hell, we'll take the modern age where we got it.
Yeah.
Before we really get into the sort of meat and bones, we should probably give people the context because Dan and you are not very close.
I've never met you before this point.
Yes,
I'm excited.
We like hopped in the Discord call and I was like introducing them. So obviously that is not where the synergy sort of comes from with you coming here.
I just like to talk
it's
to
really
people.
just from us. Yeah, Dan's just he's just a wholesome guy.
But no, please set the stage here because I'm very interested to know how you two got to meet. Which I'm gonna take a big leap of faith here and say it has something to do with music, but we'll hear more from that. You guys tell me.
Do you want to go? Or should I start?
Yeah, I can do it. Because honestly, this like relationship, so to speak, is like it correct me if I'm wrong, it doesn't really have an origin story, right?
No, I think we both we both grew up in New York.
Yeah.
And for music there's something called Allstate.
Mm-hmm.
And if you get into these groups, you can go into Allstate. We weren't even in the same groups, I don't think.
No. I mean,
But
I don't remember what you were in, but I had made both the jazz band and the symphonic band, and I had opted to do the jazz band.
Yeah, because you're older than me. I would have been
Right.
I was in the wind ensemble my second year there.
Oh, okay.
So I would have had to have been junior, so I would have been in the concert band when you
Right.
were there. So we like barely interacted. We probably we might have maybe saw each other or knew each other's names from then,
Mm-hmm.
but it really couldn't have been that much more
Right.
because we weren't in the same groups. We weren't interacting that much. I had gone to a summer jazz camp with a couple people that went to school with him.
Right.
Like high school or college?
Yeah,
Okay.
high school.
Okay.
High school. So Dan and Mark are the ones that I remember off the top of my head.
Shout out.
Right.
Are people
Big
that
shout-outs.
he went to high school with them,
Mhm.
and then I met them at that. So we weren't even really talking or friends or anything. We probably add each other on Facebook or whatever because
Yeah.
that's what you did at Allstate. You saw the names of all these people, and then at some point it was we were in college and it had come up. Either we posted about you also play Melee
Mhm.
and you did music stuff around this area and you go to music school now. So we talked a little bit and then stuff like that. And then he came over to my house when he was visiting once.
Yeah.
They came over and
from an Allstate or?
No. This was
just
years
after?
later in college.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
We had been talking. We'd been talking and stuff, and he just was back in the area, and he came over, and we just legit played Melee for probably 3-4 hours.
Sounds
Played
about right.
duets too.
Yeah, we played duets too.
What is?
We played trombone trumpet duets.
That's so
Yeah.
cute. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. Damn.
So and then again, I haven't seen Skylar in person since.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And that was probably, I was definitely still an undergrad. You probably were too.
Yeah, probably.
So
early college
we're
years,
old.
maybe junior, sophomore.
We're old. Oh my god, probably
Something
earlier
like
than
that.
that.
Yeah.
Don't say
But
such a thing.
it's one of those things. And obviously, then we're all right. Now we know each other more. Is saying friend, Smash friends, following each other's tournament results. Oh, this is where he's doing this, or you're oh, I went to this fight pit and I did super well.
Mhm.
Right.
And we just randomly talk about things like that. And then it was he started streaming, and I think I had streamed a tiny little bit, and I was whoa, hey man, you're streaming now? That's pretty cool. And then you were playing, I think it was either an SSX or it was I think it was probably Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
Yeah, I got
Those
One
are
of those.
good.
That's what you started off with, very early on before you kind of fell into some of the speedrunning stuff. But I was
Yeah.
again, going back to the nostalgic, oh my goodness, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2, my jam. I played SSX Tricky. That was the that was the sort of snowboard game I played.
I love that game.
I actually never played that. I played 1080 Avalanche and 1080. I knew those games. I never knew SSX.
SSX is great. Yeah, so I had played like basically the Project M of Tony Hawk games to start.
Yeah.
Because like there's like a mod of Tony Hawk's Underground 2 where it like combines a bunch of the levels from all the other games and uses the Tony Hawk's Underground 2 engine. It's called Thug Pro. Look it up. It's awesome.
I'm writing that down.
Yeah.
I used to love the Tony Hawk's Underground games. That shit was insane. I would play that game oh my god. That's a throwback.
It has amazing movement and such good like combo line design. So
oh yeah. I would cheat. I used the cheat codes. I wasn't good. No,
perfect balance.
But then yeah.
Exactly.
And then this goes I remember that. That's so funny. but this kind of leads into really where we're going with this, because you did those kind of things. Obviously you play Melee, and that's where we met, that kind of thing. You were streaming Melee, but really the thing that you sort of got into was speedrunning.
Yeah.
And that's so what was, I know the games obviously you run now, and I know I was probably there pretty early, but what was like one of the first game or two that you started running on your channel?
So I actually saw, you guys know the Smash Twitter gimmick account, I Love Army Woo?
Yeah.
Of course.
I love Army. Woo!
Okay. So contrary to what others may think, I thought that account was hilarious. And I thought
it was amazing. That was a top tier channel.
Did you see him wobble someone in Fall Guys?
Yeah. And I thought like the gimmick of like wobbling people on unranked was actually really funny.
Oh my God.
And like, you know, streaming it and whatever. I ran into him when I was streaming, and I literally switched to Ice Climbers and wobbled him back. But anyway, yeah, so what happened was I saw that I Love Army Woo posted a video of him wobbling someone on unranked and then also beating Spyro Enter the Dragonfly
at the same time.
At the same time. Like there were two different windows of Dolphin open. Somehow he was like wobbling with one hand. And I was like, wait, what is this run?
He's multi-boxing. That's incredible.
I was like, what is this speed run? And I loved, like, as I said, Spyro the Dragon was like my first like big TV game because I had a PS1 at the time. But I knew that Spyro Entered the Dragonfly was a pretty bad game. I did not know you could beat it in less than 2 minutes. So that was like, I saw that and I was like, okay, I need to learn this trick. Turns out it's like the easiest thing in the world. So I did like maybe like 15 runs of Spyro Enter the Dragonfly any percent. And then on like run number 16, I just casually got like a minute 12-second PB, which at the time was like 10th on the leaderboards or something. And I was like, okay, this is great, but this is really dumb. I need to do more.
he was like, yeah, I remember, because he was doing it and like making this progress, and at some point it's like you can't just like stream a 2-minute speed run all the time for like 3 hours.
I mean, look at, I don't know what you mean by that. Look at, like, I mean, I'll say Mario 64, slight difference there, but you look at 16-star runners, and like if they don't make it out of Dark World with a good run there, they're resetting. There's like a whole meme with that.
Here's the difference. His run, the bonk happens at like 12 seconds.
Yeah.
Or something like that. And then more time is spent like resetting like the console.
But also the load times are so stupid. That run could probably be sub 1 minute if it weren't for the load time.
Well, I was gonna say, because yeah, it's got like a 1 minute 7 second, and it's down to the milliseconds. They got 1 minute 7 seconds, 260 milliseconds right now, and that was done 7 years ago. No one's done anything at least too close yet, and it's like, oh my god, if this could be.
Yeah, because there's one trick. And then like,
how clean can everything else be?
Right. Well, because it's one trick. Technically, like the beginner way to do it is to stand on a little platform and then head bash through the ground. But you actually don't have to do that. You can actually just do it without that little setup. So that's like basically what all those like world record times and beyond go for. And then like there's a little bit of a strat in the final boss fight because you literally just warp to the final boss fight. In this
that's
category.
where it brings you to.
For those that don't know, Enter the Dragonfly is beyond broken. Single trick gets you to end of game battle that you can beat fairly easily. Just right offhand, you don't need anything else. But continue.
No, well, the crazy thing is the boss battle is exactly the same in the 100% run. Like it doesn't even matter. It's just
There's
that
no
easy.
extra mechanics that you need.
Yeah.
Wait, do you still use the glitch to get to him, or you just kind of get to him normally in 100%?
Oh, nobody cares about that category other than yes, Wally 1, I believe, has the world record in that category, and like they run like there's 2% milk runs.
I was gonna say, Dan, do you know our mutual friend that does?
I do know 2%.
He does Spyro speedrunning. He does a lot of it.
He runs a marathon called Spyrothon, and that's like pretty much when you only see. There's like a category in Spyro in Enter the Dragonfly. There's one called any % no early Ripto. And then there's also a 100% category, and you'll probably see one of those two on Twitch at Spyrothon every year, and that's it.
I mean, I'm looking at 100% here, and yeah, the world record with that 2 hours 39 minutes 47 seconds with like 15 people doing it, whereas any % over here got well over what we got 98 people with somehow the worst time being 3 minutes 17 seconds.
Oh well, the PS2
a couple times.
the PS2 version of the game, the load times are nearly tripled from the already bad GameCube version.
This run is on a GameCube.
Oh,
3
no.
minutes and 17 seconds on GameCube.
Well, I learned a lot more about load times and things for different things from other things that Skylar runs.
Ooh.
Right? Don't.
Ooh.
Like you run probably the next game that comes to my mind is Crash Bandicoot Warped.
Oh yeah.
And didn't you get like, isn't it like a slim PS2 or something that's the thing that gives you the best load times?
Yeah, so basically every PS2, they're like later models, like from the 50K to the 90K. If you look on the back of the console, it gives you an option to have fast disk speeds, but it only affects it when you have a PS1 disc in it because, I don't know, the PS2 discs just had their own loads. But basically, you have the option to like make your load times faster on a PS2, which significantly makes it better as opposed to like an emulator or a PS1. But yeah, Crash 3 is pretty cool. Kind of strayed away from it recently, but I do plan on coming back to it. It was one of my first like legit speedruns because Enter the Dragonfly was pretty hollow after like maybe 2 weeks.
I get that. With a lot of like meme category type things, I can imagine it's a very similar feeling from things that I've run in the past too.
Yeah.
But this is important to note that he defeated Cortex again in that game.
That's true.
So this is one of my favorite just like random things. So he did Enter the Dragonfly, and I'm a mod in his chat, and I essentially put commands for like all the runs that he does, and just like this is the ending text, or he did it for the first one. So Ripto is like, defeated again. This.
Yeah,
that's how that game ends. Crash Warped. Cortex says like, no, defeated again. This thing. So it's like 2 different games where the boss says defeated again.
You just keep
And
defeating the hell out of
I was
him.
like, he's just finding games where it's not the first time this villain is like introduced, but the second time, so you get to defeat him again.
Well, that's true. And then I started doing Crash Team Racing. And then when I did 101%, you actually have to beat the final boss twice. And so
And he says it.
he says like, you beat me
it.
again, yeah, or something like that.
Well, so I want to talk a little bit more about Crash Team Racing because I am a part of this legacy on the Twitch.tv/8vaLuigi channel.
Mm-hmm.
I have my own category
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
for his speed run.
And by
What
that,
is-
right. So basically, Drew was telling me at one point that like he played CTR when he was a kid,
Mhm.
but the one of the bosses in Crash Bandicoot, Ripper Roo, always like literally gave him nightmares.
Oh, God.
Because he's this
It was-
like cursed looking like blue dog thing that
I'll
just
look up
has this
Ripper.
like really
Make
like
sure you get the original version, not the remastered, because the crudeness really adds a lot.
yeah the polygons really do something there.
I'm
But
not even gonna look it up. I want to see it.
Oh, God. Just a dog in a straitjacket with a top hat. Oh, my God.
he's got this like terrible cackle to him as well. He like doesn't speak words. He just has this like god awful like high pitched screech cackle that's like literally all his words. He's actually terrifying. I
It's so
can't say I
bad.
blame him at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, one of my split titles in that game is DrewNG Look Away. And if I ever run the other categories of that game, I'll probably just also name those splits DrewNG Look Away.
And here's the worst part. This is what happens, Dan. I'm in his stream a lot, and either I'll be watching or I'm doing something else,
Right.
And I'll have it on the other thing, and I'm not
Just
paying
pulls
attention.
up.
All of a sudden, I hear it, and I have to drop what I'm doing, go and like scream in his chat that I heard it, and I'm just like, "Are you kidding me?" And like people know too. Like I'll like come in and someone's like laugh at me.
I can imagine you might as well just change the split title to like "Lol Drew's here." Like, he's here. He
Well,
knows.
if I'm like actually paying attention, I'll be like, "Oh, I'm like heading off to the bathroom," or like, "Sorry, I'm taking a call. I need to mute for the next 3 minutes."
That's true. Because when you do the race against him, he just lays items down behind him the whole
And
time.
laughs.
And he just does that laugh the whole time.
I'm gonna have to watch a speedrun of this because it sounds horrible, but it also sounds amazing.
No, that's good. You should watch a speedrun because that means it'll be over sooner.
Oh.
You know?
Don't spend as much time. Just look
Don't
away.
spend as much time. That's why I like get so excited if I come back. He's like, "Yes, he golded that split." That's like 2 seconds less that I have to listen to that.
Oh my God, I can't. Dude. Well, I mean, I know something that you definitely don't have a category in, and that's having the world record for a different game entirely, and that's for one they called the Wii Music, if I'm not mistaken here. More specifically, having that perfect pitch. This is something, actually, I almost have a question for you, Drew. Have you ever considered running this game? Because if for those that don't know, Skylar, you probably don't. I have a tattoo on my arm here that is of transposed music that I think I'm saying that right. Transposed, right?
Yep.
Or
Yeah.
okay. So
Or transcribed music.
transcribed. Yeah, I always get those two mixed up. If it wasn't for this guy here, I actually would have gotten it tattooed with the wrong notes on it because truthfully, I didn't know what these notes were. So I sent it to Drew, the original transcribed music sheet, and then the actual song. Within about less than 5 minutes, I get a response from him being like, "Thank God you didn't do this because this is completely wrong." And he redid the whole thing from what I assumed was because of perfect pitch as well. But also, I mean, you know, no shit, you spend
Yeah,
enough
he
time as a
was-
music teacher, you kind of know a lot of this stuff already
Yeah,
too.
he came with me with this song. It's like, "Hey, I'm getting this song. I found this piano music. Does this look right?" And I'm like, "No."
Just
And
very
I was
no.
like- and I was like, he's like, "I wanted to get a tattoo of it." So I like wrote it out, and I'm like, "All right, so this is actually what it is."
Mhm.
So that way, when you get it cemented on your skin for the rest of your life. It's not incorrect.
Not the wrong song. But so it leads me to almost wonder, number one, Drew, have you ever considered running this category of this game?
So do you remember last week when you were asking me, is there a game that like you haven't actually played before, but you would consider speedrunning?
No, I don't think I asked you that.
Oh.
No, that wasn't me.
It kind of came up.
Maybe with someone else.
And I was like, yeah.
Different podcast.
Different podcast. And we're like, and I was like, hold on, I'm not going to answer that now because that has come up. Because as the title sort of explains, Skylar can kind of explain more about the game in itself, but having perfect pitch and just being able to, for those, I don't think I've actually explained, like, to describe having perfect pitch is like something, I don't know. So having perfect pitch is being able to hear different sounds or hear different pitches, like higher, lower notes or that kind of thing, and be able to just pick it up and go, that's what this is. So a lot of times people will need to reference something, go, okay, this is this note. But if I go, bum, I and Skylar note, that is a C. So something in our brain allows us to do that. And for a game like this where there's so much of just, it's really just like music theory, oral skills, all ear training challenges, being able to do that. And it's something that I've had all the time, like in music classes, the way I perceive notes sort of coming in, especially like a rapid fire sort of way, I can almost like, as they come in, almost like in my head, at least I like store like, this is what that note is. So if I was to just be like, bum, bum, bum. In my head, I'm like, E, G, B flat. That makes it a diminished chord. And then that's just how my brain works at it. And other people could be different. But having that sort of boom, sort of quickness, I'm sure is a lot of what makes this sort of category. And you can get into more specifics of like actually the person who is the best in the world at doing this.
Currently, yes.
Yeah, currently. No, I mean that all kind of tracks for me, Drew. The big thing for me is just being able to identify that as quickly as possible in the context of a speedrun. And it was kind of learned, I guess. I mean, I always like knew that I had it since about like 6th grade or something, just because I could identify that like the end credits for some TV show was like in that specific key, and then I was like, wait, can I do this for other things? Sure enough, it ended up working out. But basically with pitch perfect, it's like stored in sort of the back menus of Wii Music. There's like 3 little mini games that are in the game. One of them's called Me Maestro, where you literally like shake the Wii remote around to conduct. Which I've been meaning to do a run in that just for the memes. There's another one called Handbell Harmony, where like you literally like shake the Wii remote like it's Guitar Hero.
Oh my god!
Wait, this is a super quick tangent. Skylar and I are brass musicians, which means we've probably played Easter gigs, so we've probably seen people doing handbell choirs.
Right.
Just like a thing that happens at different churches.
Oh yeah,
this kind of thing. So I had a job interview last year, not for the job I'm at, somewhere in Connecticut. And they were talking about all these things. All of a sudden, they mentioned, no, it was in New York. I remember it was like Capital Region. And they mentioned, and they were very proud to mention that they had a handbell choir at their school. And asking if that would be something I would be interested in. And I'm like, I gotta like talk, like I gotta present, show. And I was like, yeah. And I said, yeah, handbell. I said, I just like very intricate. It's not really just shaking it. There's certain technique that goes into it. It's the only thing I knew. You should have seen their eyes light up. They were like, oh my God, he knows.
This guy knows what this guy knows. It was just a little thing.
I was like, yeah, like there's a very certain motion you do to like produce the best sound, which is true. But that's like the one thing I know. but like that's the last time I thought about handbells, and I just had to.
It's like if you try and teach someone how to like hit a triangle correctly, first hold it up. It's got to be like at head level. Make sure when you hit the ting, you don't hit it too far near the edge. You hit it over here. And you just tell them all these things like, what?
That's some ACB percussion section right there. I'm
a
Dan
perk
played
guy.
percussion. He even played a little bit at college. I remember that.
A little bit that ACB life, you know. We're just doing our thing. Just doing our thing.
The crazy thing is, I know that acronym.
You know that acronym?
Of course I do. I had so many. I had so many friends that ended up around there. You know.
Yeah.
Listen, we're not the best, but we sure give it a damn good try.
Oh,
but
man.
Yeah, I mean, I had so many friends back from where I grew up to get that young music ed degree. I mean, there was a point where we were like, my band teacher was calling it Arlington West.
Well, there's so many string people went out there.
Yeah.
Especially with the stringendo and that string teacher, and then the one up there. Yeah, there was a definite little like pipeline thing going on.
Yeah, they were literally calling it Arlington West for a while, but
is this a music pun and I'm too stupid to get it?
Well, that was like the school.
Okay.
So there's so many of them going to Fredonia that was what they were calling it.
Got it. I'm now informed. I have an inside joke with music majors. Fucking
sorry, but that
was
was the handbells. I had to blurt out because there's not many times I get to talk about my handbell experience, and that was the one time.
When you can take advantage of niche things, you fucking do. When we make sure. But so more along the concept with the Wii music, being someone that's also done like a fair amount of speedrunning in at least my life and whatnot, I'm very curious to hear from your end, being the world record holder right now, what it is that when you do your runs, because I know you don't have like a crazy high amount of runs or anything like that. I think I was seeing here you have like maybe 300 or so runs, if I'm not mistaken.
That's
You think that's a lot, Drew?
I mean, I'll be honest. So? My speedrunning tenure was like a month and a half, so there's no way I get 300 runs.
I just look at a lot of different games, and I know certain games it can definitely vary. I feel like the shorter your category, maybe sometimes it can range, but either way.
What's the name of the speedrunning clock thing? I'm looking it up. I'm seeing what my
clock.
Like the time split. Live split.
Yeah, live split. Yeah.
I'm pulling it up.
While he's pulling that up, I'm just curious to hear from your end. I don't know, maybe you'll disagree with me. Maybe it is a fair amount of attempts that you've put forward here. At least on your world record, I'm seeing you were at about 268. So with that being said, I don't want to assume by any means that like it's just such an easy category that after that short of time you can just get world record. But what is it that you found helped you achieve it that maybe others weren't implementing at any given time? What is it that made you better?
I think for one of the biggest things actually was I kind of had it in my head that like, if I grind this long enough, I will probably have world record.
Mm-hmm.
And I had like a fairly decent time. I think I had like a 19-minute 6-second time or something. And I was like pretty cool with that at the time because there were only 2 other sub 19-minute runs on the boards. At that point, there was the long-standing, like year-long world record by Theon EC, which was in 1848, and then there was another speedrunner named Murasaki who had a 1858 at one point. And so I was thinking, like, as far as theory went, like, okay, can I world record this? Probably, but it's a matter of how. And the biggest thing for me actually was not related to most of the like music listening things. I had a lot of help along the way that just like came completely by circumstance. I had a friend named Mike who actually was able to tell me So there's actually a series of questions in every level of Pitch Perfect, and there's 8 levels with 10 questions each. There's 80 questions. One question in all of the levels is what instrument is playing the wrong notes, and it plays like a little excerpt, and one of the like 3 or 4 instruments in the example is playing a wrong note, and it always sounds really dumb. It's like dun, 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 dun. It's always really obvious, but like it's kind of hard to tell sometimes because like if a saxophone and a clarinet are right next to each other, like sometimes that can get a little blurry. But my friend Mike was listening to my run with headphones at one point, and he was like, "Wait, I can tell you something. If you use headphones, you'll be able to tell which it is a lot more reliably because their position on the screen is the same as where you'll hear them in your headphones."
Stereo?
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
new category, mono versus stereo.
So that actually helped me a lot. And then there's one other thing that's not necessarily like related to hearing something and then just like dragging your Wii remote as quickly as possible to like plunk it down. And that's the last question of every level is this crazy, like it barely falls into a music game thing at all. There's this like little checkerboard thing that has a bunch of Mii's.
It's like the
instruments.
sequence one, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched some of that. Yeah.
Yeah, and so like you have to plunk them down. There's like as the game progresses, there's like more and more errors in the examples. To the point where in levels 7 and 8, you legitimately have to move around like 4 Mii's. And the biggest thing that like saves the most time is if you can one cycle that, if you can just like move it all to the point where the excerpt isn't over. So basically it'll play once and then you have to move it around as the beat is going and you have to rearrange it. If you can do that all during the duration of the example, making sure that none of the notes play too early, then you can one cycle it, and it saves like in some cases, like in level 8, if you are to one cycle both of the examples there, it saves 14 seconds. So that was huge. And then there's also one in level 4 that is similarly like really hard to one cycle, but only if you get one specific pattern in the RNG. The first 2 notes are stacked right on top of each other, but you actually have like a couple frames to be able to move the second note to the point where it won't play. But the problem right now with having world record is that my world record came from having the most insane luck in level 8 with patterns that I actually could one cycle. Which isn't always the case. Sometimes it's like literally impossible in level 8. But hopefully that clears some things up. I'm curious to know, Dan, what games do you run? Have you run?
Yeah, definitely cleared up a lot with that. I may have some questions on that, but we'll dive back if need to. I've run Undertale in the past.
Nice.
Undertale neutral ending. I've attempted Super Smash Bros. Like certain event modes.
Nice.
Those are fun.
What about the hard pacifist mode or whatever?
The hard mode. That's a meme category.
You're
in
just
Undertale.
gonna forget that he had a world record in that
because it's a meme category that got beat in. I'm pretty sure. I don't even think I have it anymore. Like at all.
I've never had a world record.
You know, Drew, you have world record in my heart for no world records, and that's a hard one to get. You know, I'm gonna tell you right now. But other than these, am I even on here? I'm 21st for neutral, and then Silver beat me. Fuck you. All right. Anyway, that was a year ago.
Have a world record.
I do not. I'm second though. I will hold second with ease. But so as far as that goes, I did Undertale for a long time. right now, what I'm running is Super Mario 64. I'm doing 16-star runs right now. Very bad times, but working on it. We're always grinding.
Yeah, true. I mean, 64 is just such a classic and such a good speed game. So
absolutely,
it's always a good thing to do. I've been meaning to get to it, but it's gonna take a while. I got a pretty big backlog.
8va Mario coming at you. You heard it here first.
True.
So there's two little things I want to put in about the Wii music for people that may not understand, or if you haven't watched one, you know. So we kind of mentioned it. So all of these controls he's doing it literally like mid 2000s, pointing the Wii remote at the screen.
I hate that. I feel so bad.
That's like, so when he's talking about like I have a couple of frames to like move that thing, he literally is moving it. Like it's all using that when he's grabbing the things. He's not just on his mouse clicking it. He's literally doing it like that. And then the other thing, it's like so like hypocritical, but like if you he said there's 8 worlds or like 8 levels, 10 questions each. If you happen to like get your best score,
I forgot about this
on a level, so like the best you've ever done, it's actually bad for the speed run because it slows you down because you get like a new record notification and you like lose time.
Yeah, it plays an unskippable animation that lasts for like 2 seconds. It is terrible. I was doing runs today and I got 5 record ties in a row. It also plays when you tie. Yeah, when you tie your best time.
I would say there's got to be someone out there that can code like a mod or at least a save file that's like impossible to beat times, like 0.001, like on all of these. Someone's got to be able to code that because that's ridiculous. You could never PB until you've PB'd, which is bullshit.
Exactly.
But even if you tie the record, that might even be like slower.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
that's awful. What the fuck?
There's definitely runs where he's like doing really good. It's like, oh no, I got a record.
I did good. Fuck, I was too fast.
Your gold splits always have a bit of an asterisk on them. That's for sure.
Is there maybe a way to do? I'm almost wondering, is there a IGT for like an in-game time or no? Does it not give you an in-game timer?
No, because it doesn't go by like the on-screen thing doesn't go by RTA timing. It goes by like points that you score.
Oh my god!
So you score points.
Gotta love Nintendo.
Yeah. Well, I do not.
Nice.
And, I hate that. I hate that my world record is in a Nintendo game. I really do because, like, honestly, Nintendo. Being what it is kind of what led me down like the PlayStation sphere.
Yeah.
Because I had like gravitated towards more Nintendo stuff just upon playing Melee and whatever else. And obviously like the whole like Big House online shutdown thing and free Melee and everything. Obviously that like sparked a fire under a lot of people. But the thing is, like, uniquely, I guess, for me, because I don't really think other Melee players were playing this game.
No.
Was that I was playing another Switch game, actually, at the time of Nintendo shutting all this down. I was playing another Switch game at the time that literally was just going to disappear into the void in March of 2021.
I almost forgot about this whole saga.
Yeah, and so
I
was
put
playing
notes about that.
Yeah, I was playing this game called Super Mario Brothers 35, where it was kind of like Tetris 99, but
right.
Yeah, you were playing like Super Mario Brothers, and I thought it was like the coolest thing. And I met a lot of people on Twitch doing it.
You had a lot. You were doing a lot with that.
Yeah, I had games with viewers.
Forgot about that.
I commentated 3 tournaments.
Damn.
Where we used like the games with viewers system, which by the way, of course, Nintendo didn't have that. We literally used a website called time.is and gave people like universal times to start at and mash A. So it was never a guarantee that they would be in our lobbies, but it was like really reliable. But the fact that Nintendo like didn't keep that game, as well as like, actively undermining the competitive Smash scene at every possible step of the way, that kind of led me a little far from supporting what they do.
Mm-hmm. And
which is a shame because the Switch was like my only foray into modern gaming, and now I barely play the thing.
Yeah, and I mean it's understandable too. I mean the free Smash and like there's been a lot of stuff against like the actual Nintendo as a whole, and I know Drew and I have talked about that a lot, and just ways that we feel I agree with a lot of things, we don't agree with certain things that have been done, that have been said, whatnot, but I totally understand where like the push away can come from, and I don't think there's any harm in mentioning that. I don't think there's any harm in people just at least putting their view out. That's like, hey, been a long time Nintendo fan, seeing this, that, and the third fucking hurts. Like in reality it hurts, and it sucks, so I will be taking myself elsewhere. Some people look at that almost as like, oh, okay, rando 101, like whatever, but the more people do that, the more they see that people are comfortable doing that, I think it does make a statement, and it does it a lot more, I guess you would say appropriately, than just going, oh, Nintendo? Like you're doing so much more by being thoughtful on your actions with how you're going to transition than just chucking up the deuce and saying I'm gone. So I feel you there. I definitely do.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely hurts. And you see like so many people doing like awesome things with old Nintendo games, but I feel like the people will always play the new stuff. I mean, hell, I still want to play the new Metroid. But it's just tough. It's such a strange double-edged sword.
Yeah. So we talked about you getting this world record. There was a lot of sort of back and forth between you and another runner getting to that point. But at this point, you've kind of cemented, well, at least for right now, I think he's taking a little break for school or something. I've seen him, that's Basunas, in your chat. But, so right now, 8va's the guy. He's got the record. And with this, like in streaming and talking about the game and things like that, he's went, hey, let me throw my hat in the ring. And found out as of Saturday that he got into an event called RNG-athon to run Wii Music. So first off, a big congratulations for that.
Absolutely.
And then why don't you just talk a little bit about that, and then even just like plug the time and things. And I'm sure I know I'll be there watching.
Absolutely.
That's coming up in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, it is. So it's gonna be Friday, November 19th. I'll be doing my run at 7:50 Eastern time PM. But yeah, it's going to be a marathon that's geared towards all kinds of runs that have heavy RNG and heavy reset potential. But we're all just we're all just putting it out there and doing it. I'm going to be the third run of the whole marathon, so it's cool to go like early, really set the tone for the weekend. It's going to be like a nice like 24-hour marathon for that whole weekend of November 19th through 21st. I have a friend, Kefka14, who's also a musician and also runs Pitch Perfect, who actually got a different game into the marathon. So he's going to be co-commentating Pitch Perfect with me, which is going to be really nice. But yeah, I think before me there's a Clubhouse Games run, which is a Nintendo Switch game with like little like board games that you can play, like chess and stuff. And there's 51 games, and the category is win all games, so that should be long.
That'll take a while.
Yeah. So 750 might be a rough estimate, and then the other run that's before me, I think, is like a Yoshi's Island randomizer or something, which seems kind of fun. But
that's sick. What's the Twitch channel? Do you know?
Yeah, it is Rogue HQ, because it's like all for people that really like playing roguelikes.
Cool.
Yeah,
Wait.
so they wanted it to be like mostly because like roguelike games have tons of RNG in them, so they wanted
Yeah.
like all kinds of like speedrunners for roguelike games to come out.
Wait, let me
and
see
do
if
this.
they're gonna. I wonder if they're gonna have some of the. I was talking last time. One of the games that I like dipped my toe into and looked into a lot was like Crypt of the Necrodancer. It's an
Right.
roguelike and Cadence of Hyrule. And I wonder where can I find their list of things?
I can link it.
Yeah.
It's on their Ongus page. Hold on. They've got a schedule. Let me link it
Yeah.
That's dope, though.
because yeah. I mean, it's awesome. And I'm glad because and I'm really glad. I literally found it I found the link for the RNG-athon in a Discord server for a game that I don't even run. But I was like, huh. Pitch Perfect would be good for this.
Yeah.
It's time to show the world what I
That's
can
awesome.
do. I love it. That's gonna
All
be
right.
sick. I didn't even know this was happening. That's dope.
Yeah. So I took a look and I saw that it was like, okay, heavy RNG, heavy resets. It's like, yeah, I think that'll probably work because obviously you still do need to be like skill dependent in Pitch Perfect to like really cement yourself a good time. But there are like quite a few examples of RNG really making or breaking the run.
Mhm.
And there's also like just about every level is determined like more or less by some RNG.
Like if the cat plops on your lap or not, it can
Oh.
really make or break the
Yeah. Door's gonna be closed for that run. Again,
Purr's here.
yeah. I'm gonna be I'm gonna be at my desktop for that, not at my laptop.
Fair enough.
No doors.
Fair enough. It couldn't hurt the RNG anymore, could it? It'd probably give you
That's
better.
true.
Cat luck. Everyone get the what is it? Cat jam. Got a cat.
Purra-
jam.
Cat
no,
jam. Yeah.
We used to have the 8VAL Purras in the chat.
Alpers. I love it. I absolutely love that. So as far as what we've discussed thus far with Wii Music, I guess just I think from what we've talked over, given there is that bit of RNG and there are specific things that you need to look out for, I guess the first of which is, what would you claim is the hardest part, and what do you think is the easiest part, in your opinion, doing runs?
The easiest part, far and away, is levels 1, 2, and 3.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I might sub goal this actually. I feel like I could do levels 1, 2, and 3 blindfolded.
Oh, okay.
I
Oh,
don't-
that would be cool.
I don't know if I could do the whole run blindfolded. Those
Yeah.
checkerboards would make it really tough.
You could change your splits from Drew look away to AVA's looking away.
True. That God, the more that I think about it, the more I would hate that. Just because, yeah.
You just get reminded that creature exists.
No, the more that I think about it, the more I probably wouldn't like doing the category blindfolded.
Or even if you just
stupid
try, like-
Wii remote.
Yeah.
It's probably
That would
not
take a
the
lot of
best.
like getting used to like exactly where it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There are people that do that. I know there's the blindfolded Punch Out guy that his run was amazing at a GDQ. That was huge.
Right.
So who knows, man? No, perfect pitch, blindfolded could be the next big thing. Just saying.
Yeah, I should have made that. I should have made that in an incentive. Maybe I would have gotten into GDQ then.
There's always there's always A or SGDQ, one or the other. You got time.
Yeah. But no, the hardest part about Pitch Perfect is level 8.
Yeah.
Like the one that you gotta just end your run on.
Right.
Because not only like does the game just get progressively harder as you continue it, there are some really rough spots in level 8. There's one of the which instrument is playing the wrong note questions,
Mhm.
where they're all like really close together in terms of like how they sound. So that one's a real tough execution test. And then I'm trying to think. There's another one where you have to arrange the notes from low to high, which isn't that bad, but there's a timpani as one of the instruments, which is just so low and so like percussive in nature that it can be hard to catch.
True.
And then the remaining 2 questions are both checkerboards, and you have to move like 4 Miis around in each of them. Some of them literally like cannot be one cycled, so it's just like, oh, you wanted 14 seconds here? Too bad.
You thought.
Yeah.
How far,
but some of them
how far
can
into
be.
the run is the 8th level? Would you say like 12, 14 minutes, something like that, or
on
an average run?
Like 15 minutes. It's literally the last level, so lasts about 2 minutes on average.
I just asked because I know like towards the end of some games, and even like I always use Mario since that's the game I'm running right now, but I know like looking at examples of like, oh, I just did all this stuff that, you know, it wasn't the hardest, but I just did all these harder parts, and now it's like, oh, I'm like halfway through, and now I have to either make or break this. So for me, it's like right now I got through Womps, I got my bomb clip, I got my 2 stars in CCM, so now I'm going to go to Dark World.
I know some of those, not all of those.
You know bomb clip. We went over this last time. You know bomb clip, you know owlless, you know cannonless.
Do you do cannonless in 16 star?
I do. Yeah, you do cannonless.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
It's all about that trick.
Yeah, it's all about the different method you choose. There's sock folder setup, there's texture setup, there's
I just
cannonless.
know there's a lot of yahooing, and then all of a sudden he does like a backflip, and then he's there, you know?
The backwards long jumps, the BLJs. It's actually so funny you say that, Drew, because my oldest brother, when I first told him I was speedrunning Mario, his first response was, dude, I don't care, just teach me to BLJ. And I was like, you're such an ass. But so yeah, you just you pick whichever cannon setup you want to go, or cannonless setup you want to go for. You get the Womp star, you get the Tower star, then you go to Cold Mountain, or no, you also get star in the big blue star, or whatever the hell it's called. And then you go to Cold Mountain. You help the penguin.
Wait. Sorry, did you say Tower skip?
No. There's Tower Star. Tower Star.
How do you get the Tower Star?
You just go all the way up. It's just
okay.
You pretty much climb the Womps mountain.
Yeah, this just reminded me. As I said, I'm a active moderator in Skylar's stream, and
is there a meme here that we're missing?
Yeah, there's a technique in Crash Team Racing called fence skip.
Okay.
And what you do is you go in the race and then you skip the fence.
Okay.
Who would have thought?
It's actually really hard.
It's like, it's like an actual like hard thing, but it's called fence skip. And I was just like, for like kind of like a couple days, I was like, guys, don't forget he skips the fence here. And I was like, I'm just gonna put a command so everyone knows when we get there.
Yeah.
Sorry, there's like I was like waiting for the most simple thing that you said, so I could ask about it.
You found it. But yeah, it's like you get the next 2 stars in CCM, at least for me at this point, because I still can't do the LBLJ to do Dark World early. But so I get the 2 stars in CCM, then I go to Dark World. And it's like by that point, I'm maybe, if I'm on an average paced run or something like that, maybe about 8 minutes in for me right now, 8 to 10 minutes, something like that, I think. It's been a while since I've actually timed myself. But if I'm at that point, my Dark World movement is not like perfect by any means. You definitely make mistakes. So I look at this in your perspective where it's like, oh, I just got to like level 8. And it's like, oh, shit, I'm like 15 minutes in. When I played Undertale, that was the worst thing in the world. The final fight.
Right.
You're familiar with Undertale?
Yeah, I am.
So fighting Asgore at the very end, there's a term called a Taskore where you hit perfects. All 4 hits are perfect every single time for nine times straight. I just said 9. Let it
he's not holding up.
This is not a good day for me. So 9 times in a row you hit your quads. So all 4 shots are perfect. That is 50 minutes in on average for a good runner. 50 to 55 minutes into your run. You mess that up
like
once.
An hour run, yeah.
Yeah, you mess that up once. You've just probably blown maybe an extra like 5 to 10 seconds. And then you mess up again. It's another 5 to 10 seconds because it's all about like how quick can you kill the boss. 50 minutes in. That shit.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times. Head in hands. I don't want to do it.
I don't remember if I talked about this. This is my little thing. In Cuphead, I think I did talk about it. I'll go over a little bit again. One of the last bosses, King Dice, is like all up to chance which one you roll. Mm-hmm. There's like a dice block you hit, but it's very easy. It's very easy for good runners to go, I skip this one, I go to this one, I skip this mini boss because it's awful. And then me on like my best
I'm
ever
gonna
pace,
fight that one.
I'm like 2.5 minutes ahead going into like the end of the game, and I mess up one little thing, and I'm like, this whole run is like dead.
It's
But that was more of like a newbie mistake than like an actual once you get into it that happens. But it happened, and I'm sitting there like, oh my god, I have to beat this boss that I haven't really practiced because it's not actually in the run because you always skip it. Mm-hmm. And just like, oh my god, I just threw away like my best improvement.
I fucking blew it.
That's how it goes, though. That's just welcome to speedrunning.
Oh yeah.
Losing the run to something at the very end is never that great. I mean, the thing is, like Pitch Perfect, sometimes it'll throw you some bad RNG, especially in level 8. But ultimately, you know, my world record is 18 minutes and 18 seconds.
We love an 18-18.
Yeah. There's nothing stopping me from just, you know, hitting my split key again and going for it. Cause, you know, that's not too big of a time commitment. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, it definitely feels good to, you know, be able to showcase this as a marathon. And it feels good to have, you know, a pretty definitive world record at this point. Mm-hmm. But I will say one thing that really kept me going was, the fact that I had like some pretty stiff competition. I was like in the top 5 of runners for a while. Mm-hmm. And then I just saw that there was this runner named the Bassoonist 7513.
Yep.
Who got like maybe a 1903 when I had a 1906. And I was like, this came out of nowhere. And then like a week goes by and he has world record with an 1844. Mm-hmm. And that was like, that's crazy, first off. And it just happened so quickly. And I knew that I wanted world record at one point, but I didn't realize how badly I wanted world record until I saw the Bassoonist 7513 get it in like 3 weeks. I was like, oh, okay. And like, I secretly had it in my head that like, okay, this is what's gonna happen. I'm going to beat this guy's world record, and then he's gonna try to beat mine again. I didn't know that it would happen 10 times in like 2 months.
Yeah, they were all over the place.
God damn.
Sometimes it was like the next day.
Yeah. It was really exciting, honestly. And I'm really looking forward to when he comes back. He's still a college student. So I'm looking forward to when he gets on his winter break and has more time to do runs, because you never know, we could have another situation like that.
He does believe there's still time save left, according to his comment, whereas yours do truly just be swag.
Yep.
But I mean, I remember before you got this 1818, it was always like, oh my goodness, is anyone going to get 1830? And then I forget exactly what it was, but I remember you got a record in there. It was like a big record, big world record into that. And he said it, and he was like, I think 1820 is possible. And it was to see. Yeah. And then, like you said, like you guys pushed collectively over like 20, 25, 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Out of the category to get to that. It's just like a sick thing to see going by. And like you said, it was happening over not that long. And of course, it's like very friendly competition. Like, oh man, he got it. And then Bassoonist is like in the chat watching his world record back.
Right.
Well, that's a good community to have, because I mean, you see that even with like a lot of games now, and I feel like it's more common to see friendly competition in speedrunning than negative. I don't really ever see someone like, oh fuck you, you better choke this, like you're shit, you're not gonna win this, you're bad. Like no one really does that in speedrunning, which I think is so sick, because we look at other games that I know all of us play here, not to branch fully into it yet, but like you look at Melee and people will I think we started maybe earlier in the podcast or before we went live. I don't even remember at this point, but
I had this
shitting
ready.
on HBox.
No.
Oh, what do you got?
No, keep going. I had this ready and I thought the moment passed, so I put it away. Oh my god.
I mean, essentially, it's just like melee players will shit on melee players all the time. Meanwhile, it's like speedrunning. I don't know, like Liam Kings comes back, starts playing 120 star and gets world record within the month, and like every 120 star player is like, you're amazing, like you're a god, this is sick, go you, like pop off. Meanwhile, HBox just won a tournament, and you're gonna see a bunch of fuckers on Twitter just be like, Puff is the lamest bitch in the world and HBox doesn't deserve it. Like, god damn, like can we not for like 2 seconds? Like, damn.
All right, so here's what I can say about my day. Today was still a success. Like, even though I didn't play really that good in the tournament, I'm putting in the work, and this guy's not. Trust me, this guy ain't shit compared to what I'm doing, man. He's not going to make it onto the big stage. Like, I know that I have the work ethic down. I'm busting my ass at the gym, lifting heavier than him. You know this is me playing at a low, not caring, not trying. You know it's just some random-ass lame cheek from Canada no one cares about. I had that for an hour sitting on my other tab, and I was like, I don't think we're ever gonna come to like a wrap up of like what happened this week. I'm gonna close the tab or like look for something, but that was sitting there, that tweet. It was it's from No Fluxes, but Zuppy put it out as like a tweet, and I had them literally ready to go, and then we go, oh, Melee people being toxic, and I didn't have it in front of me. I like can't believe it.
I can't believe you didn't just like post that in the Discord like earlier.
I was saving it. I was like, we might talk about like what happened in this week, and I was like, I'm just gonna have this tweet on standby.
Oh my god. Thank you for saving that. Yeah, that was great. Before we dive into Melee, because I do want to talk to you a bit about Melee before we start wrapping up. I think the two last minute things about your perfect pitch speedrunning here, unless Drew has anything else he wants to add. But one thing I would want to ask about is what you feel were the flaws in your world record run. Like, what is it that we're going to see gets improved, whether it's by you or whether it's by Bassoonist 7512, I think. I actually don't have the numbers in front of me. I want to make sure. 7513, I'm a failure. But what are the faults that you can remember, at least right now, from your run that you know are going to get improved within either you or him? And then also what advice you might have to people that are, I don't know, it doesn't look like it's the most popular game, sure, but, you know, with you being on this podcast with millions and millions of listeners, you know, it's clearly going to blow up. So when people start to get interested in the game, you know, what advice do you have for them?
So to answer the first question, what was kind of off about the initial like 1818? I had improved that from an 1819 that happened like maybe a month before that or something, maybe a few weeks. I don't really remember, but I had improved it by 1 second. Mm-hmm. And you know, I hate thinking this way, so I'm sorry for what I'm about to say, but I don't feel like it was the best run.
And there it is. There it is.
Yeah.
We talked about this literally last week. World record holder wasn't really that good of a run.
All right. I had gotten something that I hadn't gotten since the world record was 1841. Mm-hmm. And the only reason that I got that 1841 world record when I got it, there was by the way, I feel like I should mention this in Pitch Perfect at this point at the top level of competition, so to speak. One wrong answer, your run is dead. Mm-hmm. Like you make that mistake, your run is dead. but it's a reset or it's a dead run. If you're trying to go for that no reset kind of vibe. I had a run that world recorded with 1841 because I got both of the 1 cycles in level 8. It really does save that much time. It's like a 14-second time save.
Mm-hmm.
So in my world record, I was actually behind by 3 seconds going into level 8. So there's that improvement that I think will happen as long as I get the good patterns in level 8. I think for sure if I can improve it, having done everything else well beforehand, I think that's coming. I had a run the other day where I was actually -8 going into level 8.
Wow.
But ultimately I didn't get the good patterns and lost 14 seconds because of it.
Jeez.
But yeah,
brutal.
that's fine because that is to be expected.
Sure.
As far as people that are looking to get into the game, into the run, I would recommend just like not even worrying about splits because of that dumb new record animation anyway.
True.
But I would recommend just like doing a single segment run, just going level 1 through level 8, getting familiar with like what the questions are. I mean, the answers will be different every time. So just getting familiar with what the questions are. Yeah. And just like recognizing, okay, what tune fits this mood? Okay, what kind of chords will I expect here? That kind of thing. And then once you start taking it slow, just work on seeing if you can hear and identify those things faster. Like Drew, I know you will do this at some point. I feel like you can't resist, right? But
you can't have perfect pitch and not do a literal speed run with perfect pitch.
I know. Well, it's interesting because me and Bassoonist both have it.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know about
other people.
Like some of the
I don't
others.
know. I don't know about the other people that have a sub 19. I know that Kefka, who is the person who actually started the leaderboard,
They're the
for
moderator.
Pitch Perfect. Yeah. He actually started the leaderboard, and I know he does have perfect pitch and is actually a professional trombone player.
Wow.
But I know that he has it. Yeah. I know that Kefka also has world record in a really obscure N64 game called Chameleon Twist. But I had never heard of that game before I saw that he had world record in it. But he's got the category sweep in it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, just take it slow. If you have the ability to, use headphones.
Yep,
for sure, because that helps you hear a ton of things better. I always find it really tough to hear like a couple of the like more sustaining instruments without headphones. But that's also like I play on a CRT, and CRT speakers are not that great.
True.
But I have rigged up a way to use headphones with that, and it's really made a pretty big difference. So take it slow to start. Use headphones. Don't worry about your time at the beginning. And this goes for like literally any speed game. Like, don't worry about what your time is on your first run. Like, it's going to be shit. Don't worry about that. It's all about the journey.
Unless you're me, in which case you can't help but reset so fucking often. But it's just that's life. It just
I'm not that great of a CTR or Crash 3 runner, and I find myself resetting quite a bit.
Yep.
As far as Crash 3 goes, like my God. You want to talk about weird things that save time? How about at the beginning of the Crash 3 run, turning off the sound effects so it doesn't play any cutscenes?
Oh my God. I mean, I can see it.
No, that's a significant thing in that game.
Yeah. It saves over a minute.
Jesus,
Wait, I meant to talk about this when we talked about Crash. This is like, obviously we talked about Skylar streaming and things. He made a speed run bingo board. And had a bingo night for doing the speed runs in that game, and that was so fun. That like interactive content, especially if you've been there, you know the different strats, you know the things that he's looking for in them, And again, it's like he's streaming, so he's saying, hey, this is coming up. Check your boards. I'm going to go for this skip, or I'm just going to not die on Tomb Waiter. Like, these things happen, but it was such, like, a fun idea that, like, I just remembered that, and I was like, oh my goodness. I was like, because sometimes you're watching, you're looking, but I'm like one monitor watching, and my second monitor's got my bingo board.
I love it.
And I was just like, yes, let me do this. Like, I didn't win bingo, but I was like close, you know? You gotta put your cards in if you want to try to win.
Yeah, I definitely feel like as far as and I definitely could do that more often or do like things like that more often. I don't want to get too tangential about it, but I do feel like in speedrunning it's really easy to like get kind of boring, I guess. Because all you're doing is like resetting or doing runs, and like it removes that sort of interactivity from it. So like if I can do things more like that, like more often, I think that would be a more beneficial experience to everybody. And I'm not gonna throw anybody under the bus, but I think we all know the type that some runners just do not give a shit about their like Twitch channel or the fact that they have one, and that's fine because some of them don't even really like make it a point to like sub goal anything or ask for your money or whatever. Right. But like I personally I enjoy effort like put into that kind of thing, because like there's a certain degree of effort to watch a streamer as well. So I don't know. I always think that like the more interactive and the more entertaining you can make it, the better. But
absolutely,
whatever doesn't come at the expense of like still chasing your PBs or world records or whatever.
For sure. Oh, he's got a friend. We got a friend.
Sometimes these fruits of labor from those streamers pay off for you in a good way, because you win from winners. Blah.
True.
Look at this crispy JP White. Honestly, like the cleanest, the nicest stick I've ever had on a controller.
What does this have to do with anything? Did you win this from him?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay. Well, rigged. I call rigged.
The Rook's Gambit. I played that nice.
You
2 rage
nice.
quits in winners and grand finals mid game. Like, you can't get better than that.
Yeah.
Quit out mid game each set.
What are we talking about? Is this you held a tournament?
No, this is
something?
Melee. Yeah, he hosted a sub tournament, and I won it. And in winners finals and in grand finals, the guy rage quit in a game each set.
Just like beat your ass. This is
like
I should have known.
Like a stock or two in, just like complete game over. Go next.
Shit.
I mean, it happened twice. I was like, this is wild.
What were you playing? Who was it? Like not their tag, but like
an Ice
what
Climbers. There's an Ice Climbers. Man. Sometimes you can get in the
crazy good against them. What?
I've gotten better. I've gotten a little better.
Have you? I feel like I haven't seen you versus Ice. He's that dominantly. God damn, this guy. That's a yikes. It's a yikes. Well, I mean, while we're on the topic of Melee, to kind of get towards wrapping things up here, I mean, for those that can't tell by your Pog champ in the bottom corner there, you are a Luigi player. I've watched your combo video. It's actually pretty sick. I know you have a few of them, but your more recent one, I think, over any of them. Definitely my first question, because no hate to you, lots of hate towards your character, though. Why Luigi? What? Who hurt you? Why Luigi?
So I, for one, am really glad that I don't play Samus in this game.
Okay.
Because I think
most
like the way the way that most people feel about Luigi is the way that I feel about Samus.
Dan, do you know what that character is for me?
What, your Samus?
Yeah, my Samus, my Luigi. You know what that is for me?
Yours, I want to say, is probably, I don't know, like knowing you, it's either Puff or Captain Falcon.
I am a known Falcon hater. It's not Falcon, though. It's his big, dumb, stupid, slower older brother.
Oh, you're a Ganon hater? You're a Ganon hater?
I am a Samus hater and a Ganon
Very
hater.
much a Ganon hater.
Actually, yeah. Those are like the only two characters that I hate in Melee. I was on an I hate Marth phase for a while, but then I grew up. But
grew up, he says. Okay.
But Anyway, Marth's sick. I've grown to really appreciate Marth. But the reason that I picked Luigi is just because I really like the character. My parents got me a GameCube game for Christmas in like 2002 or something, and I really wanted Metroid Prime. And to this day, Metroid Prime remains one of my favorite games, which really makes it heartbreaking how stupidly lame Samus is in Melee. But anyway, but I was pissed as a young Skylar because I got Luigi's Mansion instead of Metroid Prime for Christmas, and then I was like, wait, hold on, this kind of slaps. And then like in every Mario Party, I would like pick Luigi because I liked Luigi's Mansion. Every Mario Kart, I would pick Luigi. And then I kind of operated under the misnomer that like Luigi was a really good character in Melee.
Not quite.
Because I saw that he had a really long wave dash, and I was like, okay, he has to be good. And then I looked up looked up Melee Luigi on YouTube in like 2014 or 2015. I saw that Abate had gotten like 7th place at this huge tournament, and I was like, okay, wow,
this guy's pretty good.
I was like, okay, Luigi, he's got to be good. And then I looked at a tier list, and I was like, wait a second. But at that point, I had already like put effort into like learning how to wave dash, move around with the character. I didn't really like look at any guides or anything, but I saw that I saw based on my own experience that wave dash into down smash was pretty damn good. I'm glad I was right about that one.
The proof is in the pudding. It's there.
I had a roommate that showed I'm gonna go over the classic college getting into Melee story. I had a roommate that showed me the documentary and also ate my half-eaten Subway sandwiches. I really didn't like the guy, but he showed me the documentary, so I have him to blame and to thank for getting me into Melee. He was a DK main, so I was whipping on him with Luigi. And I thought, okay, well, this is great. Luigi beats DK. Who doesn't Luigi beat? I went to my first tournament, and like I got sauced by like Spacey Means, and I was like, okay, this is who Luigi does not beat.
It do be the sad realization. You pick up a not so great character, and you just got to take a bit of an ass whooping until you learn to whoop they ass.
Dude, I lost to somebody whose tag was boner. I don't have there's nothing worse than there's no worse first tournament story than losing a set to a Falco main named Boner. I mean,
I wonder what Boner's up to now. I wonder if I can find him on YouTube somewhere.
Don't look. Dan, don't search that.
Look up
Dan, don't search that.
Falco Boner.
Don't look it up.
But yeah, but I actually I was even stupider about that kind of thing because I actually didn't go 0-2 at my first tournament. I actually beat a Marth at my first tournament. So I was like, oh wait, Luigi beats Marth. I'm gonna beat on all these Marths. I wasn't right about that one either, but I actually did do really well against Marth in my early days of Melee. Like those were my first good wins. We're on Marth players. But
that's so sick.
I don't know.
Oh my god, top.
But then and then I started playing with another player who played a lot of Peach. And I started really disliking that matchup, but now I like it because I feel like pretty trained at it. Peach kind of destroys Luigi. I wouldn't say that it's like 70-30 or whatever, but it's probably like a hard 55-45, maybe even 60-40. But it doesn't matter to me because the thing is about Luigi is that he can combo you, but good luck comboing Luigi unless you're like really sick or main Falco.
I have like one or two clips where I can generally be like, I actually comboed this Luigi.
Yeah,
but that's
right?
it. because everything else, I'm like, I get like 3 hits, and then it's like I just have to like wait for this move to come down, and then I get something else.
Hurry up and put out your fucking nair. I know it's coming.
Yep,
Just sex kick, dude. Just get it over with. Let's go.
But no, I think Luigi actually has a really strong mix-up game. And it kind of leads to like a big tree of options to set up his punish game. And I think the fact that he can like reliably combo any character means that he's never truly like out of contention. And so I think he's underrated. I think he's better than Samus. I think he's more interesting than Samus. I think he probably, I mean, he definitely loses a good amount of matchups, but I think he will always stand a chance if he can get his hands on the character, and it's fine if I'm wrong. I'm not the best player in the world, nor am I the best Luigi in the world, but I do think I know what I'm talking about, and so that's kind of the why Luigi. I think
fair enough.
I think he's fun to move around with, has a great punish game, and a 1 in 8 chance that your edge guard will be his edge guard. So.
Your death will be his as soon as he hits the A button.
We pay tribute to that like month span of the DrewNG, like every day.
I
every
do
day.
Not.
He didn't know about the combo video until last week.
That's
he
true.
didn't know about Kessie's gloves. Yeah,
I didn't.
I got to get back into it, but last time I put together my controller again, the D-pad is not something with the D-pad did not like click. So I've just been so lazy to take it apart again. So I just like disabled my chat on Slippy and actually like this way better because I don't have to deal with anyone being toxic. But
fair.
True.
Actually, Mental ran into me the other day.
I don't know who that is.
Like it's
that's
someone from his like stream community.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He was like, "Yeah, I played you on Unranked, and you didn't even say GGs, and you left." I was like, "I'm sorry, I couldn't."
I literally don't have chat.
Literally don't have chat open.
It's probably for the better. Who needs the toxicity?
I think I'll just keep it like that.
LOL. Wow. Too good. Bad connection.
Bad connection is, in case you didn't know, if you ever get spammed bad connection when the connection was good, they're telling you you're bad. That's what that means. And this is just a public service announcement for anyone that doesn't know that. I learned that the other day when I lost to someone and they just spammed bad connection, even though like we had 18 ping, and I was like, "What is?" I just got whooped and felt bad. Like now, this is a rough day.
I had this week, I played someone, it was the most tilted I think I can ever remember myself playing Melee. He was good. That's the problem. He was very good. Like unreal, like definitely like top 100 fringe level Falco player who like would just do these stupid like edgeguard things and do whatever he wanted. And it got to a point he's like, "Oh, I'm just gonna like do stupid edge guards," and I was like, "I hate you. I'm gonna avoid that." And I like almost slammed my keyboard. I had to stop playing. Yeah, I'm a pretty mellow guy when it comes to, I stopped playing and I was like, I need to put this down for the day. I like never been that tilted. And I know if he was spamming in the chat, I like would have lost it, you know?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I was one of those.
It's probably good that you had it disabled.
But I was like, and I mean,
good mental catch.
Props to the guy. He destroyed me. I got completely, but I was just like, and it was always those games where it's like you're ahead and then he always finds that way to come back. And then you're like, I have to do one more because I know I can win this.
Yeah.
And it was, I was like, I don't remember the last time I had gotten that heated playing Melee. Like,
were they playing the red color by any chance?
Were they a ball of fire?
I don't rememst I went back to see if I recognized the name.
You're asking a colorblind guy if he saw the color. Come on now, that's just ableist. Come on.
But I went back to see if I recognized the name and I didn't.
Oh, because I played against somebody similarly annoying whose name was Camp God 850.
It's not that.
Yeah.
Shout out the boy Wild with Clap God 69.
Clap
That's
God
the boy.
69.
That's the homie.
The alt, the Valorant alt.
The God alt, the clapping them cheeks alt. But yeah, shit. I mean, damn, we have definitely run over our time here. I don't know if Drew, did you have anything else you wanted to run through here before? Because we definitely should be wrapping it up at this point.
We talked a little bit beforehand about. We'll just talk a little bit about Nick All-Stars Brawl. I've said I haven't played the new patch.
Me neither.
I have not dash danced once in the game.
It still doesn't feel great.
No,
I tried it. Yeah, it still doesn't feel great, but like I think it's fine for it to have its own sort of like
feel
way of moving. I don't like how you drop through platforms in that game.
Yeah.
I don't know why you use the jump button to do it.
I basically feel like I have to like input like a shield drop to like
to drop.
There's something I do. I can't even describe it, but I definitely like do all the inputs plus jump to simulate dropping new platforms in there, just to like for my brain to like calculate what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I've got nothing on that because I haven't played it yet either. I mean, if you have thoughts on the game comparatively or anything you want to say about it, because I know we've both kind of given our
you were saying to me before what the good that Nick All-Stars brought back to you.
Yeah, it literally just made me want to play Melee again. I was like kind of on a Melee break before the game came out. Because I had like taken some bad tournament losses and was just kind of like chilling, focusing on speedrunning. And then I played Nick All-Star Brawl again, and I was like, or I played it on release, and I was like, this is good. And then I played Melee afterwards, and I was like, yeah, this is still Melee.
Better.
Yeah.
This is the fix. I get you. Well, definitely, you heard it here first. NASB gonna die relatively soon, but Wii Music Perfect Pitch is on the climb. Skylar, I mean, it's been awesome to have you on here. It's been great for me to learn a lot more about you, get to hang out with you. You're excellent guest. A lot of fun. I don't know this guy underneath me. I don't know how he got here, but it's been fun. It's been real. If you want to take a second or two, the carpet is rolled out for you. You can shout out anything, whatever.
Hold on.
Can you? Do you know how to do it this time?
Look, right over here ish, you can see his lovely socials that have been going the whole time. How did Dan do that so easily? That took me way too much work.
I got a template. I got templates, man. We've been in this biz too long. But yeah, anything you want to shout out, things where the people can find you. We got the event for RNG-athon will be in the description for the YouTube video. I think November 19th. We still got some weeks on that,
we got
so it's not
weeks.
For
one, two out like the end of the week.
Yeah, so that'll all be in the description. But anything personal for you, where people can find you, where we can enjoy more 8vaLuigi.
So you've got the Twitch and the Twitter there. Those are far and away my most active platforms. Speedrun.com/we_music. Shout out to the Bassoonist 7513 for being an inspirational source, a good competitive source. Shout out to Seabass, the other MDVA Luigi, who is always pushing me to get better. And shout out to my wife for being the biggest support system for all of this crazy music, gaming, Melee, what have you, mumbo jumbo. And also shout out to y'all for having me on this. Much appreciated.
Always wholesome as always. I don't expect anything less from a friend of DrewNG. One of the gods of wholesome activities.
It's true.
Drew, I know you opened us up, but I'll let you wrap this one up too.
All right. So this has been a lot of fun. Like I've been hanging out in Skylar's streams for a while, and we're always interacting. And sometimes we'll hop in like a voice call and chat, or sometimes like when I was streaming more, but to like be able to like hash things out, just talk, go back and forth has been a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
So thank you again for coming. Thank you guys all for watching. Like we've been saying, liking. You can subscribe to YungD0nut. We already got a head start from his channel because of all his stuff. You can comment down below. We still got Cypher coming back and commenting. We love that. All these different things. Yep. It's been really fun. This has probably definitely been my favorite episode, and just getting to hash these things out and like reliving some of these old stories is always just a good time. So thank you guys so much for watching. Have a wonderful day. Continue doing what you're doing, and we will see you guys all next time. Peace out.
Goodbye.
I smacked my mic.